Good morning. I wasn't planning on making a video this morning. Uh, just got out of the shower, getting ready to go to work. But I came outside and I sat with my plants as I do most mornings because they are my favorite way to start the day is sitting out here with my little babies. And I just got inspired to share something that I have been using in my life, a tool, if you will, that I have been using in my life for a while to help heal. And that's just what it comes down to. Is this is a tool that I have been using for a while that I help heal my soul, ego, self, whatever you want to call it. So I'll just dive right into it. You can heal and work on things that you want to work on in your present life by going back into your past and healing memories that are causing you pain. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I do that in this video. It's so much easier than you may think, and it's something you can do in like 10 minutes if you are truly honest with yourself and you can truly do this with an open heart. So to start off, I first heard about this from Glennon Doyle's podcast. It's called We Can Do Hard Things, and it's amazing if you are a sensitive person or a queer person or someone who just wants to be in community with people like you. I highly suggest that podcast, and I've learned a lot from it. I feel like Glennon Doyle and her people, they have informed a lot of the ways that I view my life, just because I just, when you find someone online that you connect with, it doesn't matter that it's just online. I know a lot of people are talking about these parasocial relationships, and as long as you don't get carried away with them and think that those people owe you more than what they're already giving you, I think it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful to find someone that you connect with, even if it's someone that is just on a screen. I think that's, why social media is such a big, beautiful thing. It can be a beautiful thing. That's for another video. So I first learned this technique on one of her podcasts. I apologize. It's been years now since I listened to it. So I don't know which episode and I don't know which guest, but this guest spoke about going back in your past to change painful memories to help heal your present and your future. And the way that I do this is, we all have those memories. You're 13 years old, you said something that was really embarrassing and everybody laughed, or you said something that maybe was mean and you feel guilty about it to this day, like 30 years later. Or maybe there's a moment where someone said something to you. Someone said something to you that really hurt, and they never apologized and it never got cleared up in the moment. And it's something that has just stuck with you for a long, long time. You don't have to hold on to that anymore. I am here to tell you right this moment, I have done this so many numerous times, and I have found a level of freedom in my soul that I didn't think was possible, 5-10 years ago. So let's take the example of you said something to someone that you feel guilty about, even to this day, 20 or 30 years later. What you're first going to have to do, and this might be the hardest step of this, is to get comfortable with uncomfortability. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to use it. Get comfortable with the painful parts. Get comfortable with sitting and remembering those feelings of that moment when you said that thing and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that thing, but you don't have the the wherewithal in you at 12 years old to know how to mend that in your friendship. You have to be comfortable with those feelings before you have to be comfortable accepting that part of yourself, the shadow side of yourself that has the ability to lash out and hurt other people, because that's just a part of you. It's just a part of you. It's not a bad part of you. It's not a dark part of you. You can call it the shadow self because we are not looking at it all the time, and maybe you don't want to look at it. But it's just a part of you, and it deserves love too. So that's probably step one. So that's going to be step one, is being okay with looking at those parts of yourself and saying, hey, bitch, I love you so very much, no matter what you've said to anybody. Because I guarantee that you've said worse things to yourself. So step one, sitting with that feeling, sitting with that emotion that you would like to change. Step two is visualizing the scene in your mind's eye, in your third eye. Visualizing the scene and really remember how you felt. In this moment, what we're doing right here, it doesn't matter what anybody else felt about the situation. Sit with the feeling that it made you feel. Immediate guilt, immediate cringe. Maybe at the time you enjoyed making other people laugh and not realizing until later that it was at someone else's expense, and you're like, oh, actually, that wasn't actually quite cool. Bonus points if you were able to go back at 13 years old and apologize to your friend. I was not that 13-year-old. I was not that 13-year-old. So when you're sitting with yourself and you're feeling those emotions that just came up, the negative emotions, and laughing at someone else's pain, that's pretty tough. I don't like that at all. I'm feeling that in my body right now, and it just doesn't feel great. Remembering what it felt like to be that little 13-year-old. And then as your adult self, this might take a little bit of time if this is the first time you've ever hearing about this or hearing this technique. I don't even know if this has a name. Past healing, that's what we'll call it. As your adult self, as your 35-year-old creature body, visualize yourself with that 13-year-old, looking at her and saying, I forgive you for that, because you're the only one that actually has to forgive yourself for that. Looking at her and telling her, I love you anyway. This is a moment that you're always going to remember, and it's going to be powerful because you're never going to want to feel this again. So take this as a learning moment and take it forward into your life. You don't have to say these things out loud. You can say them in your soul. You can say them in your mind. And then let it go. You can have that conversation that you need to have. You can say whatever you need to say to that 13-year-old self. But the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is that this doesn't come from beating yourself up. Healing will never come from beating yourself up. You will never heal something by getting angry at it. You will never heal something by saying, God, I'm such a bad person. I'm such a bad friend. If you say that, it'll just keep being true. But you're not a bad person, and you're not a bad friend. There is deep love in your heart, or you would not be watching this channel. So say what you need to say to that beautiful 13-year-old who is, around all these other 13-year-olds who are probably saying the same things. And for some of those people, that's for them to deal with. That's for them to handle in their future, in their past. All you have to do is go deeply, unconditionally love that 13-year-old in your soul, because you are still that 13-year-old. We are all still little babies running around trying to pretend that we know what we're doing. Some people are better at it, but It's just the truth of the matter that we're all little babies. We're all little 13-year-olds just running around. And the more you can go back and heal those moments, the less that particular pain is going to affect you in your current life. I'll leave it at that. I could probably talk for hours, but I do have to get ready to go to work. I really, that is something that I do all the time. I am always going back and mining different emotions in my brain and in my past and being like, ooh, that's something I wish that I didn't say, but I said it out loud, and it's a part of me, and I love myself. I deeply love myself, and I don't know if I could have said that 2 years ago. I don't know if I could have even realized that that was something that I was lacking a few years ago, and I think a lot of people these days don't understand that self-love is probably the most important thing you could ever focus on, because the more you love yourself, the easier it is to love everybody in your life. Even the annoying people, the people that come to mind right now that you're like, oh, I really don't like working with that person, or I really don't like having to deal with that person. It's actually a lot easier to love them than you think. Again, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you have a beautiful day. I cannot wait to speak to you some more. And yeah, enjoy your coffee.